Guys, so today we're going to be talking about the cardiac cycle. The cardiac cycle is the events that occur during one heartbeat. So, like, from the time it takes to get from one heartbeat to another. This cycle consists of periods of diastole when the heart is at relaxation and the heart fills with blood, and systole when the ventricles contract and pump blood. The cardiac cycle is divided up into 5 phases, and we're going to go through those that correspond to electrical activity that's seen on an EKG and events that produce the heart sounds that you can hear. The first phase is atrial relaxation and ventricular filling. During this stage, both atria and the ventricles are relaxed. Blood returning from the body and lungs fills the atria and passively flows in the ventricles through the open atrioventricular valves, I believe. Yes, atrioventricular. The semilunar valves remain closed because the ventricular pressure here is low, and most ventricular filling occurs during this phase, this first phase. So in this first phase, there is diastole, the atria is relaxed, the ventricles relax, there's open AV valves, and the semilunar valves are closed. The second phase occurs when the aorta contracts, and contraction is triggered by depolarization, which appears at the P valve on the EKG. So here on this diagram, you can see the P wave in it. And this is ultimately showing you the contraction. The remaining blood is then pushed by the atria and into the ventricles, completing the filling. The AV valves remain open while the semilunars stay closed. So this is the end of diastole. This is where we see the P wave, and atrial contraction occurs, as well as the valves, the AV valves will remain open. I kind of try to summarize everything in step order so that way it's easier to understand. The third phase is isovoleric contraction, which is the beginning of ventricular systole. Ventricular depolarization appears on the QRS on the EKG. As the ventricles contract, pressure rises rapidly and causes the AV valves to close. The closure of the AV valves produce the first heartbeat sound. So this is where we get the S1 heart sound. So again, beginning systole. If you were looking at an EKG, this would be the QRS complex. So we have the P wave, and then the QRS complex, it would be like the peak, and then ventricular contraction. All valves are closed, and then again, that first sound that we get from the heart. The fourth phase is ventricular ejection. Ventricular pressure becomes greater than the pressure in the pulmonary trunk. Yes. And also in the aorta. So the pressure in the pulmonary trunk and the aorta are greater. This will cause the semilunar valves to open. Blood is pumped out of the right ventricle to the lungs and out of the left ventricle to the body. During this phase, the AV valves remain closed to prevent backflow into the aorta. So again, we have systole, semilunar valves open, blood is ejected, and then the AV valves close after that. The next phase and the fifth phase is isovoleric relaxation. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Ventricular repolarization appears as the T wave on the EKG. So we have the P wave, the QRS, which is the peak, and then this is the T wave right here. The final resting state, basically the relaxation part. This is where the pressure falls and the similar valves close, producing the second heart sound. All valves are closed till pressure falls low enough for AV valves to open and begin the next filling phase. So again, to summarize, we have early diastole, the T wave. This is where we see the T wave. Ventricular relaxation occurs. Similar valves are closed, and then this is where we get the second S2 heart sound. So in summary, we can see the phases of the cardiac cycle that we talked about. This is not the greatest image. It's kind of pixely. I wish I picked a better one, but it is what it is. So the cardiac cycle coordinates electrical activity. The P wave corresponds to atrial contraction. The QRS complex initiates ventricular systole and S1, and the T wave leads to ventricular relaxation, which is an S2. And together, these events ensure efficient circulation in the body, efficient blood circulation in the body. So I hope that this presentation helps you understand, and I was able to clarify some things by trying to break it down and make it simple. But as always, thank you for listening.